I think about equity and inclusion as the commitment to social transformation, liberation, and freedom. So we can only be inclusive once we've got systems that are just.
Bringing your full authentic self, or as much of your authentic self as possible, to what you do. And so at Bates, it's about feeling comfortable in our spaces, feeling that we have the ability to affect positive change for everyone in the community, and to really, and especially as a white cisgender man, thinking about how I can use my positional and my social power and privilege to affect positive change for people who don't have it.
I think about creating an environment in which everyone can bring their true and authentic self to the living and working environment, the learning environment, and so that we're setting up an environment in which people can thrive.
Equity and inclusion means a set of principles where everyone on the campus, especially within the student body, but everyone on campus, is interested in the ideas and thoughts of all people.
In regards to equity, not to be confused with sameness, it's a verb, there's an action to it. So equity is the intentional acknowledgement of a student's difference, and then followed closely by an action to remove barriers that may be in that individual student's pathway to success, or what success means for that student.
For me personally, I am a low income and first generation student. So coming in such programs like Bobcat First was very helpful, and emergency funding was very helpful for me because of that extra boost in funds that I did not have. They helped me pay for books. But also not just money. There was a LinkedIn event, a LinkedIn workshop that we attended to. And I didn't know anything about LinkedIn until I attended this workshop. And some of my friends already had, but when I got this introduction to LinkedIn, it broadened my connections, my networking. I've actually got an internship through LinkedIn, and I don't think I've ever would have been able to experience that if I would not have been in programs like these ones that Bates offers. And in terms of inclusion, I would say spaces like ethnic clubs. Like, I'm a part of Black Student Union, and I'm a part of Africana, and I'm a part of the Caribbeans Association. So like clubs like that where I feel like I belong and I can go to for a safe space. Also the OIE and the Multi-Faith Chapel are really good locations I can go where I feel like I belong.
Yeah, I think for incoming students, I really welcome you, encourage you to meet new people, stay true to yourself, ask for help from your peers, from faculty, from staff, and realize that you have a right to the kind of education you need and want and desire. So a lot of my first year students often will say, why didn't I learn this in high school? And I think you're gonna have a lot of aha moments, and that's what we're hoping for. And remember to speak up and speak out, and as we like to say in gender and sexuality studies, claim your education, be an active learner.
Be open-minded, and be ready to change any part of the system that you don't like. So at Bates here, students have a major voice, and you have to come here ready to use that voice. Not every institution is perfect. Not any institution I know of is perfect. So if you like Bates enough to come here, be ready to implement some changes. Be ready to protest, make people feel uncomfortable, and get conversations started.
Yeah, I studied abroad in Rome, Italy this past semester, and I think the more and more that you interact with people from different countries and cultures, the more aware of yourself you become, and the more options you can give yourself for how you want to exist in the world, and the more issues you care about. But at the same time, I think you start to wonder, what are the human tendencies that manifest in those cultural and social idiosyncrasies, and what's really the common ground between all of us? And I think that can present a really hopeful picture for the future. So that's been really encouraging about meeting people from different parts of the world.
In regards to how we promote an inclusive and equitable environment, I would say the one thing that's important to remember first and foremost in that is by promoting something, it's not that we get to the end and we mark it as complete. It's an ongoing process. And where I think that we are successful at Bates in promoting an equitable and inclusive environment is by holding one another accountable to make sure that regardless of where you work or who you serve, whether it's student-facing, faculty, staff, that we all look at our policies, our practices, our procedures, the way that we move through our experience here at Bates, and make sure that equity and inclusion is grounded and at the forefront of that. And then we can see that we have inclusive and equitable environments.